Wisconsin's most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We got a mix of snow and rain early this morning. It's pretty nasty outside, but there's a little bit better in store for later today. Here's Michael with a check on your forecast.
Couple hours away, we'll be able to take a deep breath. But yeah, Tanya, when you walk outside, you're going to find snow on the ground and on the car. Now, it's not going to be able to amount to anything, and luckily our travel impact's very, very limited because our ground has been so warm here throughout the middle of March, even with the big cold front that we had about a week and a half ago. See it developing into some rain on the backside of it, but really the snow is dominating southwest Missouri right now. So just don't be surprised if you don't need to scrape it. It's not frozen on there, but yeah, you're going to have to wipe it off. That's for sure if the cart was sitting outside. But then, as Tanya mentioned, we are on the backside of it beginning to calm down, and really nothing rolling through central Kansas is headed our way as the serious thunderstorm activity has now rolled from northern Missouri into Illinois. That's on the north of St. Louis side. Still do have our flood warnings, however, in effect for the majority of our rivers and mostly cloudy skies to begin our Thursday. Temperatures ranging anywhere from 38 in Chanute to 32 in Monette, 37 in Oswego. So where we are seeing the snow in southwest Missouri, just a touch cooler than the rebound that's already taking place throughout southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. This system will continue west to east right there. We're pretty much done with our serious activity as our weather trend will lift us up into the 40s. So yeah, it's going to be cool for middle of March, that is for sure. But as Future Track will show us, by the time we get to about 10, 11 o'clock, we are able to take a breath after our 2 days of thunderstorm activity. Let this thing clear off in time for Thursday night on into Friday and give us a good dose of sunshine as we head into the weekend. Tanya, one thing I did want to point out, go to the national perspective there, is what we were talking about with the tornadic activity that took place down in the southeastern portion in the Gulf states here yesterday. We'll break that down when I see you in just a bit.
Thanks, Michael. Multiple Native American tribes in the state of Oklahoma have an excess of COVID-19 vaccine, and they're looking to share with their friends and neighbors. And that includes the 8 tribes represented by the Northeastern Tribal Health System in Ottawa County. These tribes have received extra vaccine from the Indian Health Service because they've been efficient at getting tribe members vaccinated, and they're happy to use them to protect the rest of the county, since that in turn will protect their tribe members.
We have been doing all of Ottawa County, anyone 18 or over that is wanting to do that. We've also touched base with the local schools, offered it to them, even a couple schools that weren't in Ottawa County.
The Northeastern Tribal Health System says any adult living in the county or anyone of Native American ancestry is welcome to schedule a vaccination appointment at their clinic in Miami, Oklahoma. As states move forward in their vaccine plans, more people become eligible for the COVID vaccine. But some people are hesitant to get it for a number of reasons. Dr. Eden Esgura, an infectious disease specialist at Mercy, says she knows it's unlikely we'll reach 100% of people being vaccinated, but she's hopeful we may get to 90%. Dr. Esgura says the most common concern she encounters is people believing the vaccine was developed too quickly. But she says that should not be a concern.
So many people were on the study, and more than usual what it takes to approve a vaccine. And that's the only reason why it was fast, because of the magnitude of this pandemic.
To keep up on the latest vaccination phases in your area, just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com/vaccine. KOAM News is here to answer your COVID-19 questions as we all navigate what can be a confusing time. Judy wrote to us with a question about vaccines. She asked where in the Joplin, Missouri area is the Johnson & Johnson vaccine available. Right now, locations in the Joplin area are out of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, but you can keep track of when they're restocked with the Vaccine Finder tool. Just select which vaccine you'd like to receive and put in your zip code. The Vaccine Finder will provide a list of locations offering vaccinations and which vaccines are in stock. You can find a link to the Vaccine Finder on our website, and while you're there, you can ask a question yourself. We've provided a form on our website for you to fill out, just some basic information, and then pose your question. You can find the form and vaccine locations at KOAMnewsnow.com/vaccine. The Area Agency on Aging is opening its senior centers in Southwest Missouri. Starting May 3rd, the agency says it'll have a soft opening for the centers in Barton County, Webb City, Carl Junction, Joplin, Neosho, and McDonald County. They say it's due to a decrease in COVID-19 cases in the region.
I'm excited for our seniors to come back. I know a lot of them have definitely really felt the brunt of this by being socially isolated, so it'll be nice to give them a place where they can come and be relatively safe.
The center will hold activities like card games and bingos. They ask that visitors call ahead before coming in. A bakery in Kirkwood, Missouri is getting a lot of positive attention lately. One of its employees has become a TikTok sensation. His winning work ethic and glowing personality made him a star not only on the popular app, but also at the bakery and within his community. Mike Bush reports.
Every bakery has its secret ingredients, and the Pioneer Bakery in Kirkwood is no exception.
Okay, I need 12.
We have our classic cakes, gooey butter cakes, donuts, and Danish.
But their recipe for success isn't just what they're serving, but who's serving it.
You guys? Hi.
Meet one of Pioneer's hardest workers,
Keep going until the scoop is full.
the aptly named Derek Baker.
When he's at work, he gets serious, and he takes his responsibilities the way I would hope every employee would.
Nice job.
But like the desserts they serve here, Derek's got many layers. Serious, yes, but silly too. Which may help explain why he's become an internet star.
So Derek has this very infectious personality. He's always talked about having his own YouTube channel.
How was your day at work?
It was the same.
Were you busy?
Well, technically it was slow.
Oh, okay.
Shortly after the pandemic hit, the family started sharing Derek's video clips on YouTube and TikTok.
Fill out a questionnaire and submit your application to become a WWE superstar.
That's me.
And the Baker banter pages just took off.
Derek's got a better phone than everybody in the family now. Those hips don't lie.
500 views and then 1,000 views and then 4,000 views and then 20,000 views, and it just grew and grew and grew.
Now he's up to 2 million followers and counting.
So what about being an internet star? What is that like?
It honestly feels amazing.
It feels amazing.
Derek is one of 12 workers at Pioneer that came through the Step Up program at Lafayette Industries, a nonprofit packaging business that employs hundreds of adults with disabilities.
We're focused on developing skills like coping strategies, professional communication, problem solving.
Too often, people like Derek are underestimated.
He's not given enough credit for as much as he really does know and understand.
Ooh, I like it with the blue on it.
While many restaurants were forced to close during the pandemic,
So hit latte again.
Pioneer opened last fall with a mission to turn disabilities into possibilities.
Real soft. There you go.
When you have this sort of a program that's designed for adults with disabilities with an owner like Scott who has a heart to help people with disabilities, it's huge.
Squeeze. You do it again.
The Pioneer Bakery hopes this concept, like their cupcakes, is addictive.
It's like doing the wave. If a few of us get up and try to do the wave and it dies out, we just got to get more and more momentum going. And so maybe if I'm doing it, we'll get a couple more businesses to do it and the wave will take off.
I love Pioneer Bakery. I love the people work there. I don't want to leave.
There, that's cool right there. There you go.
A bakery whisking up guidance and opportunity. And where the delicious desserts
Let's switch to pink because I know, isn't pink your favorite color?
are just icing on the cake.
Again, that was Mike Bush reporting. It's 5:07.
I haven't heard from Mike Bush in a long time. That was good. We got mid-March snow coming down. Now, our ground's too warm to support any accumulation or have any travel impacts, but hey, you walk outside this morning, you're going to see it all over the cars if they were outside. We also still have flood warnings for, of course, our specific rivers. Kind of get an idea exactly how it dominates mostly southwest Missouri as far as our county-wide flood warnings go. And then, of course, you've got just about, you name a river in the 4 states, and it's in the midst of one right now. We should be done with our precipitation, say about 10, 11 o'clock this morning. Then we get a chance to clear off for Friday and Saturday. Cooler temperatures before a little weekend rebound.
All right, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Seneca Indians have a new head coach. We'll hear from the new coach on what it's like to be back at his alma mater. Plus, why health officials say achieving herd immunity should not be the focus. And March Madness is back. A look at what's going to be different this time around for the NCAA tournament. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Former Pittsburgh State wide receiver John Brown is entering a new chapter of his NFL career as Brown is joining the Las Vegas Raiders on a one-year deal. Brown spent the last 2 seasons with the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East. In his best year as a pro, Buffalo 2019, 1,060 yards and 6 touchdowns. The Raiders will be John Brown's 4th team in the NFL. Former Nevada High School standout Clay Gaiman is getting his shot to play in the NCAA National Tournament. Gaiman, a junior at Division I Abilene Christian. Wildcats face Texas in the first round on Saturday night. Gaiman, who was a 2-time All-State selection for Nevada High School, graduated as the program's leading scorer. And he says getting to play in the big dance, a goal he's had since he was all the way back in middle school. You can check out our full story with Gaiman on our sports page. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com. Seneca Indians have a new leader of the football program as the school approved former Carthage offensive coordinator Cody Hilburn to be the head coach on Tuesday night. Hilburn spent the last 10 years as an assistant at Carthage High, helped the Tigers win the Class 5 state championship in 2019, their first state title in program history. Now, Hilburn returns to his alma mater of Seneca. Says he's excited to come home, then get to work.
I told the kids today, the expectation is to win. I don't want it to be a transition period. We owe that to our seniors to show up day one with the intention of winning every time we step out there. But the other thing we're really going to preach is getting 1% better every day. 1% better in the weight room, 1% better at practice, and 1% better in their daily life, just becoming better people.
Now Hilburn takes over for Ryan McFarland at Seneca. McFarland accepted an assistant coaching position at Webb City earlier this offseason. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, COVID cases spiking. And it's dark outside and snowing. So I'm going to come back and do a 7-day forecast too. All that when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Warmer weather is
Just a touch after 5:17 on this Thursday morning. Roll some weather on the 7s as we wake up with early March snow. Do want to recap some of our storm reports from yesterday, specifically these 2 icons in the red. That's because out in Stone County from last night, we had a spotter confirm a tornado on the ground just west of the town of Elsie. Tornado debris signature was present, and then we had trees down blocking Highway 413. Just wanted to quickly pass that on. No reports of any injuries. Of course, we did have damage with that from some houses that had limbs down on them. Flood warnings throughout southwest Missouri indicated in lime green, and then as you take your dark green right there, that's a new one that just popped up on the Neosho River. Those are going to run all the way into the weekend. Now, we are starting to see rebounding temperatures out to the west where the snow already fell, close to 40 right there in Neodesha and Independence. But of course, we're still coming down in southwest Missouri, 35 in Carthage, 32 in Monette. Now, you walk outside, you won't see the snow on the car, probably some on the ground and whatnot. But our ground's too warm to really support any accumulation, and it's going to have very, very limited travel impacts. Now, we were talking about our tornado report that came out of southwest Missouri. Also had several tornadoes hit Alabama last night. Once again, more structural damage. No reports of any injuries, thank goodness. Severe thunderstorm risk map for today keeps everything off to the Atlantic coast. Our temperatures, going to be chilly. Chilly one today, as we're going to be in the low 40s for the most part. Low wind's going to pick up as well, come in from the north there, about 25, 30 miles an hour a little bit later, but we'll be done with this by, say, 10, 11 o'clock, so that'll be nice. Then we get a chance to actually take a breath from the weather that we've had the past couple of days. Skies are going to clear off. 50s and sunny on Friday, sunny and 60s on Saturday. Now you got the opportunity to win some big prizes, and all you got to do is watch the KOAM Morning News. It is our spring sweepstakes. Now, next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, tune in right here to the KOAM Morning News or on Fox 14 and watch for the code word. Now, once the code word has been announced on the show, you just go to KOAMnewsnow.com/code word. Enter that word for a chance to win a prize from Indigo Sky Casino. Again, those code words will be announced next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I'm going to thank you in advance for playing along. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page as people across the country gear up for March Madness. A number of games you can see right here on KOAM. This year's games played in Indiana only. So restaurants and bars, many have just reopened their doors, are preparing for the safest ways to handle fans. Jonathan Hunt with the story.
March Madness is back after taking a year off because of the pandemic. The NCAA basketball tournament is about to get underway, and bars and restaurants, some which have been shuttered for months, are open and looking for the safest ways for customers to enjoy the games.
In previous years, we were worried about capacity because of the fire department, but this year we're kind of worried about capacity with the health department.
COVID restrictions are limiting the number of fans allowed in the stands, sending them to bars and restaurants to watch the games. But many establishments will have their own restrictions in place, such as mask wearing and social distancing.
We won't be able to have standing room, which is what a lot of people enjoy for March Madness.
The tournament comes as more and more states are lifting restrictions. And even though vaccinations have increased and the death toll has dropped, March Madness remains a concern for health officials.
The safest thing still, of course, is to watch from home and to have smaller gatherings at home.
Meanwhile, to get back into the celebratory spirit, a 47,000 square foot bracket has been plastered on the side of an Indianapolis hotel, not far from where this year's Final Four will take place. This gigantic games tracker, bigger than the world record bracket the company created back in 2015.
It's something I'm very proud of we do, and something that's garnered attention coast to coast.
Round one of the tournament tips off on Friday.
Full first round. Technically, we got games tonight, man. Come on, Jonathan. We got the first four going on. It's game time. Facebook page and an Insta poll. Who do you think will win the tournament? You got a method of filling out your brackets. We'll crowdsource this. Tanya will steal your ideas and successfully win the KOAM Morning News Bracket Challenge with your help. Be back with Health Watch next.
Topping Health Watch this morning, don't get fixated on herd immunity. That's the message from a top U.S. health official, and the number of U.S. adults who have contracted the coronavirus was possibly twice the number reflected in the official case count in September. That's according to a new study. Mandy Gaither has more.
As more shots go into the arms of Americans, top U.S. health officials say achieving herd immunity shouldn't be the focus.
Why don't we just say get as many people vaccinated as quickly as you possibly can? And every day that goes by now, with more than 2 million doses going into people, we're getting closer and closer to control of this pandemic.
The millions of coronavirus cases confirmed in the U.S. may just be the tip of the iceberg, according to a study published in the medical journal JAMA. Researchers tested the blood of nearly 62,000 Americans who never had symptoms of COVID-19. They say they found more than 4,000 of them had antibodies, meaning they'd had COVID-19 but were apparently asymptomatic. The scientists used that information to estimate that 15.9 million asymptomatic or undiagnosed coronavirus infections were in the U.S. as of September 30th, 2020, while the total number of confirmed positive cases was just over 7.2 million at the end of September, according to Johns Hopkins University. This as a more contagious virus variant known as B.1.1.7 continues to spread across the U.S. Another study linked that variant to a risk of death that was 55% higher than that of earlier strains.
Our current models still project by the end of March, early April, B.1.1.7 will be the dominant variant.
That's why health officials continue to urge Americans to wear masks, practice social distancing, and wash hands. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Red Cross is reporting that in the first week of March, more than 20% of blood donations from unvaccinated people had COVID-19 antibodies. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Local tribes begin offering the vaccine to non-tribal members. Plus, facts to know if you are still hesitant to get the vaccine. And some senior centers in Southwest Missouri reopen this spring. Why it won't be business as usual.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We've got a mix of snow and rain out there early this morning. But don't worry, we've got a great day ahead of us. Just got to get through this first. Michael Hayslip joins us with a first look at your forecast.
Expecting any travel impacts, Tanya, even with our mid-March snow that we see now on the eastern edge of Southwest Missouri. Ground's too warm to really support a whole lot of accumulation. You'll notice it though on elevated surfaces and certainly your car, and then that develops into rain on the backside of it. Throughout southeast Kansas though, pretty much done. Now that is sans cloud cover right there. It is going to be a little bit of an overcast day as our flood warnings, especially for our rivers, last all the way in to the weekend. But like I said, give it a couple more hours and we're just about done. As temperatures now getting back close to 40 in SEK, 39 in both Independence and Neodesha, still right by the freezing mark, 32 in Monette, 34 in Cassville, where we do see the snow coming down. It takes a little bit of an easterly track after it gets through us, goes from the Mississippi all the way to the northeastern portion of the United States, but we can finally escape our severe weather for this week. Not a whole lot of sunshine today. Wind's going to pick up as well, coming from the north, 25, 30 miles per hour, and that's why our temperatures stay cool for this time of year, down into the low 40s. By the time it kicks off, we get to sit back, watch the cloud cover go away overnight into Friday. So Friday is going to present us with just a whole bunch of sunshine, and then we can begin to rebound our temperatures. Mid-50s on Fridays. How about 60s on Saturday? Enjoy that, because look, we're going to roll next week. We got additional thunderstorms headed in for the latter third of March. Tanya?
All right, yep, got a lot ahead of us. Just be prepared. All right, thanks, Michael. Multiple Native American tribes in the state of Oklahoma have an excess of COVID-19 vaccine, and they're looking to share with their friends and neighbors. That includes the 8 tribes represented by the Northeastern Tribal Health System in Ottawa County. These tribes have received extra vaccine from the Indian Health Service because they've been efficient at getting tribe members vaccinated, and they're happy to use them to protect the rest of the county, since that in turn will protect tribe members.
Have been doing all of Ottawa County, anyone 18 or over that is wanting to do that. We've also touched base with the local schools, offered it to them, even a couple schools that weren't in Ottawa County.
The Northeastern Tribal Health System says any adult living in the county or anyone of a Native American ancestry is welcome to schedule a vaccination appointment at their clinic in Miami, Oklahoma. As states move forward in their vaccine plans, more people become eligible for the COVID vaccine, but some people are hesitant to get it for a number of reasons. Dr. Eden Esgura, an infectious disease specialist at Mercy, says she knows it's unlikely we'll reach 100% of people being vaccinated, but she's hopeful we may get to 90%. Dr. Esgura says the most common concern she encounters is people believing the vaccine was developed too quickly, but she says that should not be a concern.
People were on the study, and more than usual what it takes to approve a vaccine. And that's the only reason why it was fast, because of the magnitude of this pandemic.
To keep up on the latest vaccination phases in your area, just go to our website at koamnewsnow.com/vaccine. Area Agency on Aging is opening its senior centers in Southwest Missouri. Starting May 3rd, the agency says it'll have a soft opening for the centers in Barton County, Webb City, Carl Junction, Joplin, Neosho, and McDonald County. They say it's due to a decrease in COVID-19 cases in the region.
I'm excited for our seniors to come back. I know a lot of them have definitely really felt the brunt of this by being socially isolated, so it'll be nice to give them a place where they can come and be relatively safe.
The center will hold activities like card games and bingos. They ask that visitors call ahead before coming in. St. Patrick's Day yesterday looked a bit different than usual for many amid the pandemic, but at Joplin Pub feels like the holidays signifies a return to a time before the pandemic, even with safety guidelines. KOAM's Zach Dodge has the story.
Good times, beef stew, and lots of Guinness.
We got Guinness on 2 taps. We normally just have it on 1, but we pour a lot of Guinness.
Blackthorn Pizza and Pub started the day at 6 in the morning, filled with good food and drink and live music in the evening.
I wouldn't expect myself to be anywhere else except here.
I imagine after work we've partake in a few festivities and enjoy St. Patty's Day.
Owner Melanie Womble explains they're keeping things safe, though, requiring masks be worn when customers come in and go to the bar, and keeping tables spread out for social distancing.
And just kind of lower key. Usually we kind of do it up real big. I usually start planning about 6 months in advance, but 6 months ago we didn't know what exactly was going to be happening.
And last year, in 2020 style, the celebration was even smaller, with a reserved atmosphere and smaller crowd caused by the beginning of the pandemic. The day after, the pub shut down, quickly followed by state and local stay-at-home orders.
We lost a lot of food, and there was a lot of beer wasted, and like a lot of beer wasted. But and I mean, we were closed for 2.5 months.
Everybody's really taking a beating, so I'm hoping that we can overcome this and start being a big happy community again.
And seeing customers enjoy drinks and each other's company makes Womble feel like we're starting to get back to that.
It just feels so much more normal than it has felt in over a year. So it just really, it's kind of nice just trying to get back into the swing of things, you know, not too much all at once, but yeah, just kind of slowly getting things back up to what they were.
In Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
The owner of Blackthorn wanted to remind everyone to stay safe and call a ride if they decided to partake in the celebration. Yesterday's first round of storms left some damage in parts of the 4 states. This in Carl Junction on County Road 290. The homeowner says around 5:30 Wednesday morning, she heard the storms roll in with heavy winds. And when she was able to get out and inspect her property, she found that the roof of her barn and part of the roof of her garage had been blown off. Near Miami, Oklahoma, lightning caused damage to a home off of Highway 137. The strike caused scorching under the roof and a blown transformer. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Ever wanted to get off a long Zoom call? Then a free new app called the Zoom Escaper is designed just for you. We'll tell you how it works. Plus, Russia denies interfering with the 2020 election despite a U.S. intelligence report. First, it's 5:37.
We've got mid-March snow coming down throughout southwest Missouri. Now, travel impacts are not going to be an issue. Ground's too warm for it. Then it turns back into rain. Heavy cloud cover for rest of the day. Should be done with this here by about 10 a.m. After that, we can calm down, look forward to sunshine to finish off our work week and head into the weekend. And luckily, temperatures also begin to rebound. Get some 50s on Fridays and 60s there on Saturday. We'll be back with World Watch right after this.
Topping World Watch, countries across Europe are bracing for a third wave of the coronavirus pandemic as vaccine efforts lag behind the U.S. CBS's Tina Kraus reports from London.
With COVID cases spiking, Italy is shutting down again.
We can't stand this situation anymore.
Half of the country's 20 regions are under the strictest form of lockdown as the disease threatens to overrun hospitals. France, Germany, and Poland are also set to impose tough restrictions as new variants and a shortage of vaccines have sent infections soaring. Italian health officials say they're receiving less than 50% of expected doses.
I think the same happened everywhere in Europe. So it's not an Italian problem. I think it's a European problem.
Adding to the problem, many European nations temporarily stopped giving the AstraZeneca vaccine after reports of patients dying from blood clots shortly after getting the shot. But European regulators say the vaccine's benefits outweigh the risk.
Britain is leading Europe's vaccination race, and scientists here say booster vaccines will be crucial as the virus keeps changing.
Immunity to coronavirus doesn't last forever.
Researchers hope tracking how the virus changes by mapping mutations in the genetic code will keep vaccines one step ahead of the disease.
I think it's inevitable. that we will have another virus emerge that's of concern.
Europeans had hoped for a better 2021, but the EU's vaccine program has so far failed to deliver.
Health experts are especially concerned about the coronavirus variant first identified in the UK before spreading here to the U.S. It's estimated to be 50% more transmissible than the original virus and likely more deadly. Canines are on the front lines in the effort to battle the coronavirus. Thailand University has trained dogs to sniff out COVID-19 with a high success rate. The dogs were trained and tested by identifying virus samples taken from the perspiration of COVID-19 positive patients, a scent that dogs can detect even if the person doesn't show obvious symptoms. So far, they have an accuracy rate of 94.8%. That's impressive. Russia denies it interfered in the 2020 election despite a U.S. intelligence report concluding it did. The Kremlin says it had nothing to do with any information campaigns against any candidate. The U.S. intelligence report released on Tuesday found foreign adversaries, including Russia, attempted to undermine public confidence in the election process. The Kremlin called those claims baseless, unsubstantiated, and incorrect. The Biden administration is considering further sanctions against Russia, China, and Iran because of the alleged election interference. Russia says it's considering retaliatory measures. And Russia threatens to remove Twitter over government-prohibited content. Russian regulatory officials say they will block Twitter in 1 month unless the U.S. social media giant complies with the demand to remove banned content. Some of the posts reportedly refer to child pornography, illegal drugs, and child suicide. The government slowed down the speed of Twitter inside Russia last week in retaliation for a failure to remove a specific list of forbidden content. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for something to talk about.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll, NCAA March Madness tournament making its grand return. We've got the beginning of the first four, as it's called, tonight, after being canceled last year due to the coronavirus. Of course, all games going to be played in the state of Indiana this year. We're asking if you fill out a bracket, who you think will win. Do you have a method when it comes to that bracket? Rick Norton says, good morning, KOAM crew, and good morning, Pittsburgh. Morning, Rick. I must say, I have never watched them and no plans to watch now. Now, Rick says, everyone have an amazing day. You as well, Rick. Now, we're going to have an issue if the Chicago Bulls win this. Now, how big a boy are you, Roy D. Mercer? I have a feeling the NCAA would point out amateurism. The NCAA is full of hypocrites anyway. I don't know, Roy. It seems like they got good bet as anybody. That's just me ripping on the NCAA. Becky Mengarelli says, didn't miss it last year. Bring on baseball, go Royals. Buck Thomas, doesn't care. Kenny Kimmel, club member. I'll probably watch some of the games because I'm a bit of a sports junkie. I don't follow college as much as pro and have interest in filling out an entire bracket. When they get down to the Final Four, Kenny says, ask me again. Kim Peterson. Ken, here's the deal. I got a graphics dude and myself. We'll just say that Ken likes the school up north. We won't say it on air. Oh, God, we need to get him back on the shelf. That's the problem. Morning Instapoll. How confident are you about your NCAA tournament bracket? This is curious coming off of last year. How about 72%? I was 74. That's the great thing about it, updates like that. 74% not even filling one out this year. Tanya, you got a pick?
I need to fill one out. I haven't started my bracket yet.
Okay.
Working on it.
You got till tomorrow.
Yeah. What time's the first game?
You good. You got plenty of time.
What time is the first game? Like it's
We get rolling. We get rolling this afternoon at 5, but you don't need to worry about that first four. Nobody takes into account the first four. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow at cover starts at 11.
Okay.
Right here on KOAM. That was to break.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Biden administration announced it will distribute $10 billion in federal funds for coronavirus testing in schools. That comes as the CDC considers reducing guidelines for distance in classrooms to 3 feet, and as 18 states report at least a 10% rise in new cases. Multiple Native American tribes in the state of Oklahoma have an excess of COVID-19 vaccine. They're looking to share with their friends and neighbors. That includes the 8 tribes represented by the Northeastern Tribal Health System in Ottawa County. The Northeastern Tribal Health System says any adult living in the county or anyone of Native American ancestry is welcome to schedule a vaccination appointment at their clinic in Miami, Oklahoma. As states move forward in their vaccine plans, more people become eligible for the COVID vaccine, but some people are hesitant to get it for a number of reasons. Dr. Eden Esgura, an infectious disease specialist at Mercy, says she knows it's unlikely we'll reach 100% of people being vaccinated, but she's hopeful we may get to 90%. Dr. Esgura says the most common concern she encounters is people believing the vaccine was developed too quickly. The Area Agency on Aging is opening its senior centers in Southwest Missouri starting May 3rd. The agency says it'll have a soft opening for the centers in Barton County, Webb City, Carl Junction, Joplin, Neosho, and McDonald County. They say it's due to a decrease in COVID-19 cases in the region. The center will hold activities like card games and bingos. They ask that visitors call ahead before coming in. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Ran into a little mid-March snow on this Thursday morning. Luckily, our ground too warm to really support any accumulation that's going to stick around. But you walk outside, you're going to find it all over the cars and the roof, that is for sure. Now, don't worry about anything severe on this Thursday. That is a nice aspect of it. Just going to be cloudy and in the 40s. Be back right after this.
If you've ever wanted a good excuse to hop off a Zoom call, there's a new tool to help you out. In fact, you can make yourself so annoying that no one will want you on their Zoom calls. Janine Moose introduces us to the Zoom Escaper.
From a cat in the courtroom.
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
To a cat in your shot.
This is my cat.
Zoom has zoomed right over some of our heads.
Okay, my screen is dark again. Darn it.
And not just on SNL.
We have seen electors.
And who needs real kids? And who needs real technical issues?
I have to mute this, sorry.
When there's this.
No more Zoom meetings. No more Zoom meetings. No more Zoom meetings.
Ever want to fake a Zoom fail to get out of a meeting?
Digital artist Sam Levine is the creator of a free tool called the Zoom Escaper.
So that your presence becomes unbearable to other people.
If you can't screw up on your own,
just everybody mute yourselves. Amen? Amen. Why ain't you doing it?
Let the Zoom Escaper do it for you with everything from a bad connection to barking dogs to construction noise to a weeping man. Okay, using a weeping man as an excuse to jump off a Zoom call is a stretch, but this is the one that really had folks scratching their heads. Sorry, gotta go. I'm already urinating? That one's more likely to get you sent to HR than excused from the Zoom meeting.
No, please don't bring it into the bathroom.
Reaction on social media to the Zoom Escaper range from "you deserve the Nobel Peace Prize" to also known as the Paycheck Escaper. You'll never get a paycheck again. The Zoom Escaper. Next best thing to "cat's got your tongue."
I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I always thought that judge was actually turning into a cat. I didn't realize that was just a...
My two favorite that have surfaced has to be the Texas lawyer with "I am not a cat."
I'm a real person. I'm
that
really
was great.
here.
I am not a cat. But did you see the one out of India where the gentleman is on a Zoom call with his work and his wife comes in and wants a kiss?
Oh, no.
Yes. She is getting a kiss from her husband, whether he's on that Zoom call or not. He's sitting there like staring at her petrified. It was so great. It's like, I don't care if you're on a Zoom call. Give me a kiss. That was tremendous. All right, Tanya, you've got the opportunity to win some big prizes just by watching the KOAM Morning News. It's what we're calling our Spring Sweepstakes. Next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tune in right here or our 7 to 8 hour on Fox 14 and watch for the code word. Now, once the code word's been announced on the show, you just go to KOAMnewsnow.com/code word and enter for your chance to win a prize from our good friends at Indigo Sky Casino. Again, those code words announced next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll be back. Update the Skywatch storm tracker for you right after this. Work from east to west. Still have some snow coming down on this Thursday morning. It shouldn't have any travel impacts, so more of just an interesting sight when you walk outside and see it on the cars and the rooftops and whatnot. But it'll be gone here, give it an hour or two. Follow that up with some light rain in the central portion of the 4 states, and then we're gradually clearing off as we work out to the west. Throw the satellite coverage on, because it is a little bit of an overcast morning. Temperatures only going to be in the 40s today, with the north wind picking up in between 25 and 30 miles an hour this afternoon, and be back right after this.
Local tribes begin offering the vaccine to non-tribal members. Plus, facts to know if you are still hesitant to get the vaccine. And some senior centers in Southwest Missouri reopen this spring. Why it won't be business as usual.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. It's a mix of snow and rain outside this morning, but changes are on the way. Here's Michael with a check on your forecast.
Yeah, still got a couple hours hanging on to our precipitation, Tanya. The snow throughout Southwest Missouri, it's been light. Just going to be around on elevated areas in your car. Shouldn't affect any of your travel plans. Light rain then after that, and then finally beginning to calm down out in southeast Kansas. Big thunderstorm activity is actually on the north side of St. Louis over the Mississippi right now. But remember, we still do in our dark green right there and our lime green. We've got flood warnings that are going to run all the way to the weekend. Overcast skies for Thursday. Not a whole lot of sunshine. Just got to get rid of the snow and rain first, where we still see temperatures right along the freezing mark in Monette at 32, Carthage 34, and Lamar 34. And are getting the rebound out in southeast Kansas and portions of northeast Oklahoma where the snow has already passed through. This system kind of horseshoes around us, then heads off to the northeastern portion of the United States. So we're not looking at anything severe. And by the time we get to 10, 11 o'clock, we can finally begin to take a breath. Speaking of the afternoon hours, that wind icon right there, going to come in from the north about 25, 30 miles per hour. We've got a wind chill right now that's taking us down to 25 degrees in Joplin. As this pushes out, we will finally begin to clear our cloud cover Thursday night into Friday morning, and then we can begin working on some sunshine. So that'll be a nice end of the work week after what we've had past couple of days, and put us up into the 60s by Saturday.
60s by Saturday? I'll take that.
We'll take it.
It was cold this morning. I'll take that. If you're an adult living in Ottawa County, Oklahoma, who is still waiting to receive a COVID-19 vaccine, you're in luck. The Northeastern Tribal Health System has you covered, regardless of whether you're a member of a Native American tribe. KOAM's Mike Mahoney explains.
Multiple Native American tribes in the state of Oklahoma have an excess of COVID-19 vaccine, and they're looking to share with their friends and neighbors. That includes the 8 tribes represented by the Northeastern Tribal Health System in Ottawa County.
We have been doing all of Ottawa County, anyone 18 or over that is wanting to do that. We've also touched base with the local schools, offered it to them, even a couple schools that weren't in Ottawa County.
These tribes have received extra vaccine from the Indian Health Service because they have been efficient at getting tribe members vaccinated, and they're happy to use them to protect the rest of the county, since that in turn will protect tribe members.
The more of our neighbors we vaccinate, then it decreases our risk too.
The Northeastern Tribal Health System spent Wednesday helping Downstream Casino vaccinate their employees, and they're reaching out to other county employers to see if they'd like to set up vaccination clinics for their workers. But they say any adult living in the county or anybody of Native American ancestry is welcome to schedule a vaccination appointment at their clinic in Miami, Oklahoma.
As we have the appointments available, the openings available, as we have the vaccine available, we just want to try and get it out there and get it in arms.
In Ottawa County, Oklahoma, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Yesterday's vaccination clinic at Downstream Casino, the Northeastern Tribal Health System estimates they've vaccinated around 5,000 people. As states move forward in their vaccine plans, more people become eligible for the COVID vaccine. But some people are hesitant to take it for a number of reasons. Dr. Eden Esgura, an infectious disease specialist at Mercy, says she knows it's unlikely we'll reach 100% of people being vaccinated, but she's hopeful we may get to 90%. Dr. Esgura says the most common concern she encounters is people saying the vaccine was developed too quickly.
Because of the magnitude of the pandemic, the stakeholders just decided to work together and cut the red tape. And in fact, this is a great example of accomplishing great things when you know the urgency of this pandemic.
To keep up on the latest vaccination phases in your area, just head over to our website at koamnewsnow.com/vaccine. Area Agency on Aging is opening its senior centers in Southwest Missouri starting May 3rd. The agency says it'll have a soft opening for the centers in Barton County, Webb City, Carl Junction, Joplin, Neosho, and McDonald County. They say it's due to a decrease in COVID-19 cases in the region.
I'm excited for our seniors to come back. I know a lot of them have definitely really felt the brunt of this by being socially isolated, so it'll be nice to give them a place where they can come and be relatively safe.
The center will hold activities like card games and bingos. They ask that visitors call ahead before coming in. Freeman Health System's MRI service is now operating in Pittsburgh to fill a void from rural hospitals closing. It's a mobile MRI open 2 days a week on North Pine Street. Freeman workers say there's already been a big demand.
Performed over 100 MRI procedures since our soft opening in January, but we are ready to go full steam now.
Freeman says they've already received 14 referrals from area physicians for this mobile MRI service. Visitors at Pittsburgh's Meadowbrook Mall were treated to some traditional Irish music on this St. Patrick's Day this year. A group of musicians playing the fiddle, guitar, tin whistles, harmonica, and drums set up at the mall yesterday. Dennis Kavanaugh mans the tin whistle, but that's not his only talent.
My favorite thing, I play a tin whistle and a harmonica and tell a few stories, and as they say, I got a gift for the gab, or too much of the gab for some folks maybe, but anyway, that's what we have going on.
6:07.
Still got the flood warnings. They're going to last, some of them not until expiring until Monday, because the precipitation continues to come down. Certainly nothing like what we had yesterday, but this time we had some snow flip over, ranging right now through southwest Missouri, pushing off to the east with light rain on the backside of it. Temperature is only going to be in the 40s today, kind of an overcast blah day, but at the same point, hey, at least we're not fighting thunderstorm activity. Let's call that a win. Clouds clear overnight, 50s on Friday, and sunny skies and 60s on Saturday.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, COVID scam warnings.
Scam artists are targeting people looking for the COVID vaccine. I'm Nichelle Medina with how criminals are trying to capitalize on the coronavirus shots.
Plus, a new study makes bold claims about how far apart we should be social distancing. How 3 feet could be enough to keep you safe. And one beer company is asking you to trade in your quarantine clutter for a case of beer. You're watching the KOAM Morning News, more real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Money Watch this morning, distribution of the coronavirus vaccine is growing, but scam artists see a growing opportunity. Nichelle Medina reports.
When the COVID vaccine came out, Janice Gash gave her contact info to the Florida Health Department, hoping to get an appointment for the shot. Later, she received a call, but something didn't seem right when the caller asked her to spell her name.
I said, you should have my name, you're getting in touch with me for the vaccine.
Gash was suspicious and hung up for good reason. Officials have put out numerous scam warnings. Criminals often call or email seniors offering fake vaccine appointments for money.
When someone calls you on the phone, just automatically be very suspicious and don't give out any information.
The vaccine is free. You can't pay for it or for a place on a waiting list. But an investigation from Digital Citizens Alliance spotted social media ads offering to sell shots. It appears the scammers just take the money and never deliver. Last month, the Department of Justice charged 3 men in Baltimore for setting up a fake website saying you may be able to buy a COVID-19 vaccine ahead of time, offering them at $30 apiece. Even those who have received the shot legitimately need to look out for another possible scam. The Better Business Bureau says people posting their vaccination cards online are putting themselves at risk.
The problem is those vaccine cards have a lot of private information on it. It has your birth date on it. It can sometimes have your home address on it, clearly the full spelling of your name. Well, that's a scammer's paradise.
Experts say it's safer to just share a picture of the vaccination sticker instead. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, San Diego.
Tax day is delayed. The IRS is postponing the usual April 15th deadline to May 17th. In a statement, the IRS commissioner acknowledged tough times for people and said the agency wants to do everything to help taxpayers navigate the pandemic. The delay only applies to federal taxes. State filing deadlines may be different. So-called Dirty Dozen list is out. Strawberries remain in the top spot of fruits and vegetables containing high traces of pesticides. The annual report from the Environmental Working Group says spinach, kale, nectarines, apples, and grapes remain on the list. New additions include collard and mustard greens and bell and hot peppers. Health experts recommend consumers buy organic fruits and veggies when possible. A Coors for your clutter. Coors Light wants to trade you beers for your unwanted quarantine clutter. We've all bought things over the past year to keep us busy during lockdowns, but as the Molson Coors VP of Marketing points out, we, quote, do not need a bunch of stuff to chill. So on this Saturday, you can drop off that unwanted clutter at the Battery venue in Atlanta or Allegiant Stadium in Nevada and exchange it for some free beer. 1 to 10 pounds of clutter gets you a 12-pack. Up to 20 pounds gets you a 30-pack. Coors Light. Not a bad trade. That's it for Money Watch. We'll be right back. First, we want to tell you about our spring sweepstakes.
That's right, Tanya, you got the opportunity to win some big prizes just by watching the KOAM Morning News. Now, next week, we're going to roll Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday next week. Tune in right here on KOAM or join us from 7 to 8 on Fox 14 and watch for the code word. Once a code word's been announced, all you have to do is go to KOAMnewsnow.com/codeword and enter it for your chance to win a prize from our good friends at Indigo Sky Casino. Again, those code words announced next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Be back with more KOAM Morning News. We're going to roll some weather and talk about record precipitation in Joplin over the last 24 hours. Right after this. Right at 6:17 on this March 18th. I actually want to harken back to March 17th to talk about the record that we set at Joplin Regional Airport on St. Patrick's Day. Now, while we've picked up 0.2 of an inch just since midnight alone on Thursday, yesterday, 1.53 inches. That breaks the old record of 1.3 inches that was set back in 1987. Bumps our annual total since January 1 all the way up to 9 inches. That's a good 3 inches above our historic norm for where we'd normally be on March 18th. And we've got additional rainfall happening today, including a little snow that's now hanging over southwest Missouri. See it on elevated areas and on the vehicles, but it shouldn't hamper any of our travel. Let's talk about some storm reports from the thunderstorms. We don't have anything severe today, but I do want to tackle those two icons right there because in Stone County, you had a spotter confirm a tornado on the ground. That was yesterday evening right there. No reports of any injuries. Did have some damage to houses from limbs falling on roofs and whatnot. Flood warnings for lime green through southwest Missouri. The dark green indicating our river-specific flood warnings, those lasting all the way into next week. So it's going to be a while before they begin to recede. Temperatures ranging anywhere from the low 30s right at the freezing mark in Monette to almost 40 degrees out on the western half of southeast Kansas. After this thing pushes out here in the next hour or two, we'll be nice and quiet on the backside of it. Now, we're still going to have to put up with cloud cover today. It's going to be chilly, only going to make it into the 40s. But after we can buck the cloud cover overnight into Friday morning, whole bunch of sunshine to finish out our work week, and into the 60s there by Saturday. Then we transition to the middle of next week where more thunderstorms are going to roll in. Over to Jesse in Studio C.
Thank you, sir. Well, when it comes to COVID-19 information and data, it can get confusing, and sometimes it can be difficult to get in touch with the health department because they can only do as much as their resources enable them to. And that's where we want to help you out here at KOAM. So on our website, and we're going to pop this up here, you can see we have a lot of resources available, but specifically our coronavirus local HQ. Now, let's take a look at this for a second because I just want to make sure you understand how it works. We're trying to consolidate all this information. So control room, if we want to take this next one here, look at this. This is our local HQ. We've got all these stories here. I don't know if you may have been here already, but we've got even more than that now. So then if we continue to scroll down here, you'll see we have 3 states worth of data. And with that, we have information about case numbers. We have information about death totals, cases, I mean, you name it, everything you need to fully understand the situation, not just in your state, but in your county as well. And if we click through some of these, you can see we go through and we also have vaccination information. So the vaccination overview for Missouri, for Oklahoma, for Kansas. Let's take Oklahoma, for example. I mean, in the last 7 days, it kind of breaks down the vaccination data from there. And so Stacey Strader, our web editor, she works very hard to make sure this information is as up to date as possible. And if we keep going here, I mean, we also have not only stories, but we also have our contact form. And our contact form is ultimately where we want your feedback, we want your questions and everything. So at the bottom of that page is a contact form to just be able to fill it out if you have a question about COVID-19 vaccine information, whatever it may be. That's also on our Vaccine Information HQ page. We're going to break that down during our Fox Hour over on Fox 14 at 7 o'clock. And we're also going to be breaking that down with Stacey on our Facebook page later today. So we have all this information for you, and it's right there at your fingertips. Just go to koamnewsnow.com/vaccine. We'll be right back on the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, will lowering social distancing requirements keep people safe? A new study says yes, as supporters of the new idea hope this research will help get more kids back into schools. Marianne Rafferty has more on why critics are cautioning against the move.
A new study suggests a new policy for social distancing. Researchers with the Infectious Diseases Society of America say as long as people are wearing face masks, staying just 3 feet apart is just as safe as 6 feet. Researchers analyzed COVID-19 infection rates among several schools in Massachusetts and found no major differences between schools that required 3 feet of social distancing versus the standard 6. The results are creating some optimism.
I think we should trust and follow the results of the research.
Others note social distancing is only one part of controlling the spread.
We need rigid implementation of ventilation systems to control infection. We need all school employees to be vaccinated.
This study comes as the Biden administration is calling on states to get kids back into classrooms. By letting students sit closer together, in theory, more students will be allowed to return to in-person learning. But it might not be that simple.
You're going to increase the number of people in those confined spaces. Therefore, you will increase the risk.
Teachers across the country are doing their part by lining up for vaccines. What they say is the key to getting life back to normal.
I think it gives us some optimism that next year is going to be something reminiscent of before all this started.
Officials at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are examining the new study's claims as some schools in Illinois and Indiana are already implementing the 3 feet rule. One drug that may reduce the risk of most severe COVID cases may already be in your medicine cabinet. New research shows low-dose aspirin may lower the risk of going to an ICU or dying from COVID. Scientists at George Washington University say they looked into records of more than 400 COVID patients. For those who used aspirin, the chance of needing a ventilator, going to an ICU, or dying was reduced by more than 40%. California's theme parks might sound a little quieter when they reopen. The California Attractions and Parks Association backs a plan that would mitigate shouting on rides. That means no screaming on roller coasters. Good luck with that one. The trade group represents theme parks across the state. As part of the association's reopening guidelines, it suggests face covers and modifications to seat loading patterns to mitigate the effects of shouting. Los Angeles and Orange counties will allow theme parks to reopen next month. Disneyland is planning to reopen its doors April 30th. Think you could get the kids to stop shouting? It's the parents that'll have issues with that. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to be able to monitor that one. And what are they going to do? Kick you out of the park if your kid screams on a roller coaster? That's a weird one.
Yeah.
All right, still got some snow hanging on in southwest Missouri. That's right, mid-March snow. We're not looking at anything severe. Won't impact our travel. I'll tell you what really picks up on the backside of it. The wind. My goodness, putting about a 10-degree difference in our temperature and our wind chill right now. Look at that, barreling in from the north. No wind advisory, so we kind of do look out as far as that goes. But it's going to be a little bit of an overcast, chilly day with highs only in the 40s. Give this precip another hour or two and it'll be out of here.
Local tribes begin offering the vaccine to non-tribal members. Plus, facts to know if you are still hesitant to get the vaccine. And some senior centers in southwest Missouri reopen this spring. Why it won't be business as usual.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We've got a morning with a little bit of snow and a lot of rain out there, but there's changes coming our way very shortly. Here's Michael with a check on your forecast.
Doesn't that sound a little odd if you harken back 2 weeks ago where we were talking about what a great start to March and how warm it was, and now we're talking about mid-March snow? It's something else, and we've got a little rain after that. This isn't going to impact travel at all, just an indicator of the cold front that really dropped in and got us. Luckily, we don't have any of that thunderstorm activity that like we had yesterday through last night into early this morning. Still have the cloud cover, though, going to be a little bit of an overcast day. Wide-ranging temperatures, anywhere from the freezing mark in Monette, close to 40 in Independence and Neodesha right now. But when you bring in the north wind to play, we're talking about wind chills that make it feel like it's 25 in Webb City, 28 in Pittsburgh, and only 23 right now in Iola. As the horseshoe kind of wraps around us, takes off for the northeast section, nothing behind it. We love to see that. So even if we do have an overcast day, at least we don't have to worry about anything severe. It is going to be a little bit windy. No wind advisories. We kind of luck out there. Really just flood warnings is what we're going to concentrate on into the weekend. Give it about 8, 9 o'clock, push that out, and stuck in the 40s today. But overnight, we're going to clear off the cloud cover, get a good dose of sun on Friday, begin to rebound up into the 50s, and really a nice looking weekend with additional sunshine and up into the 60s. Then we'll concentrate on that next week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
After yesterday and snow this morning, we'll worry about that next week.
Yeah, let's focus on a beautiful weekend.
It's sunny and 60, we'll take it.
Definitely. All right, thanks, Michael. Multiple Native American tribes in the state of Oklahoma have an excess of COVID-19 vaccine, and they're looking to share with their friends and neighbors. And that includes the 8 tribes represented by the Northeastern Tribal Health System in Ottawa County. These tribes have received extra vaccine from the Indian Health Service because they've been efficient at getting tribe members vaccinated, and they're happy to use them to protect the rest of the county, since that in turn will protect tribe members.
We have been doing all of Ottawa County, anyone 18 or over that is wanting to do that. We've also touched base with the local schools, offered it to them, even a couple schools that weren't in Ottawa County.
The Northeastern Tribal Health System says any adult living in the county or anyone of Native American ancestry is welcome to schedule a vaccination appointment at their clinic in Miami, Oklahoma. As states continue to open up COVID vaccine phases, it means more people are becoming eligible for the vaccine. However, some are hesitant to get the vaccine for a number of reasons. KOAM's Chris Warner has more on what facts you need to know.
Prater, the pharmacist and owner of Prater's Pharmacy in Webb City, says he's ready for Missouri to continue moving forward in its vaccination phases.
In our area, vaccine supply is beginning to outstrip demand.
I think that's a good thing because it won't be near as difficult for people to get the vaccine that want to receive the vaccine.
However, he is running into some who aren't so sure about getting the vaccine.
I would say probably 25% are still a little more hesitant, but we always ask if there's any other questions before we vaccinate and make sure that they're completely informed.
Those hesitations have led the Crawford County Recovery Task Force to put out a survey.
We felt like we needed to ask more local questions and understand why people haven't been vaccinated yet. And sometimes it's just that they're not eligible yet and they're not jumping the line. And sometimes it might be that they have questions or concerns, and we wanted to better understand what those are.
We spoke with Dr. Eden Esquera, Mercy's infectious disease specialist, to help clear up some of the concerns regarding the vaccine. She says the most common concern is the vaccine was developed too quickly.
So many people were on the study, and more than usual what it takes to approve a vaccine. And that's the only reason why it was fast, because of the magnitude of this pandemic.
Another concern she's heard is the vaccine impacts fertility. She says that's not true.
First of all, the official recommendation of the OB and GYN group is that you take the vaccine. And that's a very strong statement when they come from these professional groups.
I'm Chris Warner for KOAM News.
To keep up on the latest vaccination phases in your area, just head over to our website at koamnewsnow.com/vaccine. KOAM News is here to answer your COVID-19 questions as we all navigate what can be a confusing time. Now, Judy wrote to us with a question about vaccines. She asked where in the Joplin, Missouri area is the Johnson & Johnson vaccine available. And right now, locations in the Joplin area are out of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. But you can keep track of when they're restocked with the Vaccine Finder tool. Just select which vaccine you would like to receive and put in your zip code. The Vaccine Finder will provide a list of locations offering vaccinations and which vaccines are in stock. You can find a link to the Vaccine Finder on our website, and once you're there, you can ask a question yourself. We've provided a form on our website for you to fill out some basic information and then pose your question. You can find the form and vaccine locations at koamnewsnow.com/vaccine. The Area Agency on Aging opens its senior centers in Southwest Missouri starting May 3rd. The agency says it'll have a soft opening for the centers in Barton County, Webb City, Carl Junction, Joplin, Neosho, and McDonald County. They say it's due to a decrease in COVID-19 cases in the region.
Excited for our seniors to come back. I know a lot of them have definitely really felt the brunt of this by being socially isolated, so it'll be nice to give them a place where they can come and be relatively safe.
The center will hold activities like card games and bingos. They ask that visitors call ahead before coming in. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, more on the Atlanta spa shootings.
Many Asian Americans are feeling on edge after the spa shootings in Atlanta. I'm Naomi Ruckham with more on a growing number of hate crimes against the community.
Plus, for our Something to Talk About, we're asking, who do you think will win the NCAA tournament? And what's your method to filling out a bracket? We let you weigh in, but first, it's 6:37.
If the light snow or the rain doesn't get you, the wind is going to. My goodness, is it picked up outside. Coming in at 40 miles per hour. We've got a whole bunch of wind chills in the mid-20s throughout the 4 states right now. Waiting for that snow to move off to the east, just kind of lingering right now. No travel impacts, nothing severe, just mid-March snow. We don't get to say that too often. Weather trend, mostly cloudy skies. The wind sticks around. Highs only in the 40s for today. Things do get a little better overnight as the cloud cover will clear off, put us up into the 50s for Friday, and then 60s and sunshine over the weekend. We'll be back with Nation Watch next.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, police are still looking into why a 21-year-old allegedly shot and killed 8 people in Atlanta earlier this week. Most of the victims were of Asian heritage. CBS's Naomi Ruckham has more on the shooter's possible motives and how the attack is just the latest in a long, troubling year for the Asian American community.
Asian Americans across the country are on edge following the Atlanta area spa shootings that left 8 people dead, 6 of whom were of Asian descent.
Our communities have been so scared. They were scared before COVID-19, but they're even more scared now.
The group Stop Asian American and Pacific Islander Hate says there have been nearly 3,800 reported hate incidents in the U.S. since the coronavirus pandemic began last March.
Somebody just pushed me and hit me.
Danny Yu Chang was blindsided while walking to work on Monday in San Francisco.
I cannot see on my left eye. They didn't rob me, so I think it's a hate crime.
This 76-year-old woman was one of 2 people attacked yesterday, where police are looking into if race was a factor. Xiaoxin Che defended herself and left her attacker handcuffed to a stretcher.
By the state for around the area and fight back.
In Georgia, authorities are working to determine if the rampage was racially motivated, though the suspect told police it was a sexual addiction issue.
We believe that he frequented these places in the past and may have been lashing out.
21-year-old Robert Aaron Long has been charged with the murders.
He made a comment that he was headed to Florida and that he was going to do similar acts in that state.
Long's family recognized these security photos posted to social media and alerted deputies who then tracked his cell phone. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Cherokee County Sheriff Captain Jay Baker is facing backlash for his comments at the press conference and previous Facebook post. Baker said Long was having a bad day. He also said last year he had posted photos of T-shirts blaming China for the coronavirus. The Biden administration announced it will distribute $10 billion in federal funds for coronavirus testing in schools. That comes as the CDC considers reducing guidelines for distance in classrooms to 3 feet. And as 18 states report at least a 10% rise in new cases. 21 states are suing the Biden administration over the Keystone XL pipeline. The lawsuit claims the president did not have the authority to revoke a permit for the pipeline. President Biden did that through executive action on his first day in office as part of his promise to combat climate change. The planned pipeline would carry oil from the Canadian tar sands into the U.S. Oil industry and Republican leaders slammed President Biden's move, saying it would cost thousands of jobs. Climate and energy experts said the pipeline would be at odds with U.S. energy needs, given the existing oil supply. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check in with Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. On the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Instapoll, March Madness making its grand return after the NCAA was canceled last year due to the coronavirus. The 2021 men's college basketball tournament was certainly a different feel. Entire tournament will take place in multiple venues across the state of Indiana. There will be limited capacity. Fans will be required to wear masks and socially distance during the games. 68-team tournament spans for more than 2 weeks, leads up to the national championship game that'll take place on April 5th. Round 1 of the tournament tips off tonight in what we refer to as the First Four. Our coverage will begin on KOAM tomorrow morning at 11 and bring you a full slate of games from Friday all the way to Monday this year. That's right, we're going to roll Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, push everything back a day. Our question to you, if you fill out a bracket, your methodology, do you care? Rocky Cunningham says, I absolutely, positively, 100%, without a doubt, couldn't care less about college basketball. If given a choice, I'd rather watch paint dry than college hoops on TV. Love you, Aunt Pat. Rocky says, did I mention I don't care for college? I did. I picked that vibe up, Rocky. Michelle Pacini, club member. Morning, Michael and Tanya. Morning, Michelle. Zero interest in basketball. She's a football fan. Like to take a vote of changing the nickname the Four States to the Four Season States. I like it, Michelle. Crazy we get all 4 seasons in 24 hours, and I love you, Mama. Also, her husband. It stopped storming and tornado threats canceled. Is it too wet to mow? Michelle, we'll have to wait and see after the snow melts. That is so true, Michelle. Karen Wheeler says, I'm still bummed that it was canceled last year. KU was hot. I do believe they would have won it all. I just can't get too interested this year. It's not just you, Karen. It's not just you, because on our Insta poll this morning, 82% of the respondents, 82% of you say not even filling out a bracket this year. I found that very interesting. That number has continued to grow throughout the course of the show. Appreciate all the engagement. You can make your voice heard by going to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back with birthdays and anniversaries next.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Sergeant Vanny Green, a member of the United States Army. He served from 1949 to 1952 in Germany, his hometown, Walker, Missouri. We are proud to salute Vanny Green, our four-state hero.
We begin our birthday list with Gemma Long, celebrating the big number 1. Get this, think the full name? This is beautiful. Gemma Alberta Grace Long.
Aww.
Gemma's special birthday wishes coming from Mom, Dad, Grandpa, Grandma Wingen, and Grandpa Long.
What a cutie there. All right. Hadley Morgan turning 5 years old this year, a little princess or a little queen there in Carthage, Missouri.
Raiden Lindsay has an 11th birthday. Raiden, I want you to have a marvelous birthday, kiddo. He's in Riverton.
Michaela Bandy turns 21 years old this year. Hope it's a great one. Happy birthday to you, Michaela.
And in Girard, it's a 31st birthday. That is Patricia Greenwood. Great picture. Happy birthday, Patricia.
All right, John Jones celebrating birthday number 36 this year. Happy birthday, John, in Frontenac.
And in Liberal, Gary Meadows and the gang. Gary's celebrating his 65th birthday. And Gary, I want you to know that Joe, Wes, Jordan, and Cash left me a note here. Happy birthday, Dad.
Awesome, awesome. Happy birthday, Mr. Meadows. And birthday wishes going out to Judy Clugston in Columbus, Kansas, and John Haggerty in Pittsburgh. Happy birthday to you as well.
Happy birthday, happy anniversary to all on this March 18th. That's where you can send them into. If you do the email route, birthdays with an S at KOAMTV.com. Or if you want to go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/birthdays. Now, here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right. You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club. All you have to do is go to our website and sign up. And once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
Snow might be light, but it doesn't want to budge out of southwest Missouri. Still clinging on to our far eastern counties. The rain has actually calmed down a little bit, but even where you don't see the heavy green, it's still getting a good amount of drizzle that's still present up in the air. As you can tell, nothing on the west side of it, so after we can get rid of this here in the next hour or two, we actually calm down a little bit. It is going to be an overcast day as the cloud cover is not going to want to break up. It's a chilly one out there. 32 in Monette, 35 in Carthage, compared to 39s in Neodesha and Independence. But look at those wind arrows streaking in for the north right there, and it's quite a wind chill. It feels like it's 26 in Webb City, 23 in Nevada, and we're up to 29 in Parsons. It's a blustery one. We're talking about wind gusts of 35 to 40 miles an hour right now. As this thing wraps around us, it then takes off with thunderstorm activity all the way to the east coast, and the warmer temperatures, those are stuck down to the southeast right now. They actually do have some tornado warnings in effect for portions of southern Georgia. That's something we can just kind of keep our eyes on from a national perspective throughout the course of our Thursday morning. Here in the four states, not a whole lot of sunshine today and chilly temperatures. Average high this time of year would normally be in the 60s. And we're going to be stuck in the low 40s, and that is thanks in part to that north wind. Give it until overnight, and that's when those clouds will follow along with the rain, kind of push out to the east right there. It's going to be a wet central Missouri for the rest of the day. We'll be done here mid-morning, and then after that, clearing out overnight, but still very, very cold on Friday morning. At least we're going to get a temperature rebound Friday afternoon as we'll throw some 50s up on the board. Then we're looking at a wonderful weekend. A whole lot of sunshine and 60 degrees on Saturday and Sunday. Maybe a good time to get that yard work started and or wrapped up if you're in the middle of a project, because we've got additional thunderstorms that are going to be with us beginning of next week. We'll be back, wrap up this edition of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Talking about it earlier this morning, you have the opportunity to win some big prizes by watching the KOAM Morning News. It's to what we're calling our spring sweepstakes. Here's how we'll roll it. Next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tune in right here on KOAM or from 7 to 8 a.m. on Fox 14 and watch for what we call the code word. Now, once the code word has been announced, you just go to KOAMnewsnow.com/code word, enter the word for your chance to win prizes from our good friends at Indigo Sky Casino. Again, those code words announced next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Right, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Biden administration announced it will distribute $10 billion in federal funds for coronavirus testing in schools. That comes as the CDC considers reducing guidelines for distance in classrooms to 3 feet, and as 18 states report at least a 10% rise in new cases. Multiple Native American tribes in the state of Oklahoma have an excess of COVID-19 vaccine. They're looking to share with their friends and neighbors, and that includes the 8 tribes represented by the Northeastern Tribal Health System in Ottawa County. Northeastern Tribal Health System says any adult living in the county or anyone of Native American ancestry is welcome to schedule a vaccination appointment at their clinic in Miami, Oklahoma. Well, as states move forward in their vaccine plans, more people become eligible for the COVID vaccine, but some are hesitant to get it for a number of reasons. Dr. Eden Esguerra, an infectious disease specialist at Mercy, says she knows it's unlikely we'll reach 100% of people vaccinated, but she's hopeful we may get to 90%. Dr. Esguerra says the most common concern she encounters is people believing the vaccine was developed too quickly. The Area Agency on Aging is opening its senior centers in Southwest Missouri starting May 3rd. The agency says it will have a soft opening for the centers in Barton County, Webb City, Carl Junction, Joplin, Neosho, and McDonald County. They say it's due to a decrease in COVID-19 cases in the region. The center will hold activities like card games and bingos. They ask that visitors call ahead before coming in. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
It's got a little bit of snow hanging on to Southwest Missouri. Overcast skies even after the rain and snow move off to the east. That's still going to be about another hour, hour and a half. Windy one coming in from the north, 35, 40 mile per hour gusts, making it a chilly Friday as we are stuck in the 40s. Wind chills right now as low as the mid 20s. Wait till the end of the work week, beginning of the weekend though. Sunny skies and highs in the 50s and 60s on both Friday and Saturday.
We'll take it.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making one of Michael's favorite dishes.
I know what it is now.
Spring vegetable couscous in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
One of those words when it hits the teleprompter, my palms get sweaty.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. That's coming up at noon? Okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Jeez. Well, on Fox 14, we are going to be breaking down the vaccine information that we have available on our website. You know, the Vaccine Finder tool, you know, it's able to find whichever vaccine you prefer, wherever you live. It's pretty beautiful. We're going to break all that down over on Fox 14 here in a second.
All right, switch on over. Join us over there for the next hour. And, of course, we'll continue to update the snow. That's right, mid-March snow and rain on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Want you to have a great, safe, marvelous Thursday. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.